Hi, my name's Mark Cooper. I'm the Harbour Master in Dart Harbour Navigation Authority. I want to just very quickly cover things to do when you're thinking of going on the waiting list. So this video is aimed at an introduction to our waiting list that's quite complex. If you decide at the end of this video that you do want to apply for a mooring with Dart Harbour, there should be another couple of videos there. There'll be one that talks about the general waiting lists, how to apply, and the detail that you need to think about when you're applying. And then there's a second, a third video. The third video is around the subject of buying a vessel, specifically if you're looking to locate it in Dart Harbour. The third video covers the sort of things that might help you to move through the waiting list more quickly than just going and buying a vessel and appearing and asking for a mooring for a vessel that you decide to buy. So this first video is very much about the things to think about before you apply and before you start to fill in the fairly complex sheet that's the application sheet that's on the annual mooring section of our website. For most people who apply for a mooring, they already have some knowledge of Dartmouth. They've been to Dartmouth many times. They either live here or they've been down on holidays. They decided they like the river, and it's where they want to locate a vessel for their normally for their leisure use, but also for some commercial use as well in other cases. That's fine if you're a local resident, because that means that you probably know more than I do about Dartmouth and about how the river operates. It also means that you've got some idea of where you want your vessel to be. And you've also got some idea of how you'll be using the vessel, what you'll be using the vessel for, how often you'll be using it, whether you'll be taking it out of the water in winter, whether you're leaving it there over the winter. All of those things are really important to think about if you're not so familiar with Dartmouth. One of the biggest constraints on mooring allocations in the Dart is available car parking space. And probably the second is the ability to store or keep a tender to get backwards and forwards from the remote moorings that are not walk ashore. We do have some walk ashore and pontoon facilities, but they're in very high demand, and the waiting lists for those tend to be over 5 years for most of those moorings. So most people start on a less suboptimal mooring and then want to move eventually to a more preferential mooring that suits their requirements. But before you go on to the next video about how to apply, just think about where you want to be on the river, the time it will take you to get out of the entrance of the river if you're using your boat outside the river for cruising or you want to go racing. Think about the car parking. Where will you actually park? How will you get to your tender? Will you use the yacht taxi? The yacht taxi operates only in the southern half of the river from really below the lower ferry in Dartmouth to Noss, and a few of the swinging moorings just the north of Noss. So for other areas of the river, you're going to need to think about where your tender goes, or whether you're going to get a lift with somebody else who's using their tender or some of the other commercial operators. So think about those things, because that just helps us when you do eventually start to fill in the application. Just helps us to narrow down the type of list you might want to be on and how you intend to operate. So that's the introduction video over. Please take a look, if you are still interested, at the things to do for applying for a mooring. And then also, if you don't have a vessel yet, the third video about concentrations on the vessel characteristics to make it quicker for you to be allocated a mooring in the Dart. Thank you.